What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the first day of August. It's a brand new month, and we are starting off this month the right way to the downside. 22 hours, 13 minutes left in the day here. You know, I did expect that we would drop a little bit yesterday, but I thought that we'd come back up and close the day green. I was looking for a higher close. Inevitably, and we have talked about this over the past few days, over the past week, we have been expecting that August would open up to the downside because typically, if you look at this on a monthly time frame, it's a little superstitious. It's not like a certifiable science, but it is something that happens a good bit of the time. If you look at any of these green months, every single one of these green months, in fact, just look at how many of them have wicks to the downside. A wick to the downside on a green month means at some point in the month, likely the beginning, there was some negative aspect where the month was red, right? There's very few months. Here's one, in May. Here's a couple right here. Very few months where the wick is shallow or virtually non-existent, right? We don't really get that too often where you just move up immediately. But here we are right now, moving down a little bit to start off the month, seeing a low of 114.3K. I was calling for 117K, so we demolished that, man. We absolutely demolished that. And speaking of things that get demolished, man, over the last 30 days, the longs have eclipsed the shorts as far as longs to shorts go on the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map here. And now they're about 50-50 even. The longs still have it, and we are very close to this little island of long liquidation here. Perhaps we do drop down to 113K. If we look at the last day, even through this dump, there is still a lot of longs, about $730 million worth of longs over the last 24 hours specifically at 113K to get liquidated. That means there's people who have gone long, probably all the way down, and there's a final attempt here to go long now. Might we just clear them all out and then in dramatic fashion start moving up? That's oftentimes what happens. And we did, we had this theory of doing this exact thing, but weeks ago, like a couple weeks ago, in the very beginning of this, and we kind of wrote it off. I was like, maybe those longs can stay open. There's just too much demand for Bitcoin to go down. The thought of going to 113 to 114K, again, we talked about that a lot, like daily for that first week of consolidation here, but it's taken all this time. I think I've wrongly assumed that we were in a horizontal channel this whole time. I don't think that we were. Perhaps we were in some kind of flag or slanted parallel channel to the downside. It makes sense that we would be. And with that in mind, typically with these diagonal lines, these trend lines that are easily identifiable, you take a discernible high here and you draw it to this discernible high, the best time to sell would actually not be at the trend line, but just above the trend line, right? Typically that's what happens. You break it and then you move down. And same thing with the areas of support. The best time to buy might not be at the trend line, rather just below the trend line. And just below there, that's like $113,000, you guys. We really could go right below there. On another note, related to this, if you do see what's called a partial decline, which is exactly what we have at the moment, but there's still a lot of time left in the day for this to continue to go down. At the moment, we have a partial decline, which is where you reach for the trend line, but you don't quite get there. That actually is a bullish indication, right? It's actually, and that's the thing about these trend lines, man, especially on the third attempt specifically. You don't typically find support off of it, or if you do find support off of it, it's not, why is it not letting me draw? It's not letting me draw for some reason. Oh, wow, it's frozen. What's happening? Let's see if we can fix this a little bit. Maybe. The power went out here, you guys. We had a little bit of a storm, some high winds and stuff. Man, the sky looks beautiful. But the power went out, so I'm wondering if things are a little laggy because of that. Do I have internet? Yes, I do. Okay, so there's those lines. There's those little lines. What I was trying to draw was, it's not common to bounce off this line. It's actually most common to go below it or find support just above it. And finding support above it like this, that's actually a lot less common. It's pretty hard to do, but that could be what we're seeing here. If today reverses, if we come all the way up here, that's actually a very powerful signal. And with that in mind, if we were to close above yesterday's closing price, we don't have to do it today, but any day, 117.8K, we close above there on any given day. I would assume that's that, guys, and we're going for new all-time highs. So this is just one step. I know that it seems like we're taking a step backwards, but in all honesty, this is one step closer to seeing new all-time highs. Oftentimes we do shake out before we move higher. That's oftentimes what happens, right? We get our lower daily close here, lower than that low. And did we even have this same thing going on back here? I wonder. It was actually just below that trend line. See how it happened just below that trend line there. but a lower daily close, which we just got right here, lower daily close yesterday, might we now start to come back up? I don't know. Time will tell. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, let's get into the indicators here. Okay, 1 hour time frame, building volume as we're coming down, not looking good. 1 hour RSI, the most bearish that we've seen it probably in a long time. Yeah, since the 21st of June. For the 1 hour time frame, that's like an age, man. That's an age and a half. So it's been a long time since we've seen this kind of overbought reading or oversold reading. Let's go back. Let's actually see what happens whenever we get this oversold, okay? So from here, we'll go back. We'll just mark a couple of these, okay? Well, let's mark like 3 to 5. We'll just see how many we have. Mark one right here, one right here, one right there, one right there. And that's like the last one. So we'll do that. I guess you had one more right here. Okay. Okay, 5. There we go. So whenever we last had a reading this low, I moved the line off a little bit. It was right there. We were basically at our low, but we didn't move up immediately. We actually moved sideways that was the 3rd hour of the day. We moved sideways for about 11 hours, and we actually did go a little bit lower. So just with that in mind, we could go a little bit lower, you guys. The time before that here, was that the low? No, it was the consolidation before the low, right? And we very well could see something like this, form some bullish divergence, and then finally move up, right? Here, on the RSI, you had a low in the RSI, and then you saw a lower low. Again, kind of two. I know that this on the RSI is actually where we are now, right here, on this drop, and we did find support there and move up, but there were 2 of them, where here we only have 1, right? We only have 1 here. And then even here, you didn't have 2, but you had here, you rejected the oversold zone, came back down. You still had multiple iterations, bullish divergence forming here, right? Where we don't have any of that going on now. Whenever you get this deep, typically that's what you'll get, some bullish divergence. Here was 1, just 1, and that was the relative low, but you didn't really bounce off of that, and then you inevitably kept going lower. Here, you had a low in the RSI, but again, 2. It came in 2s, right? Here, this low was dramatic and then a V-shaped recovery. So it can happen that way as well. A lot of volume came in, a lot of volume came in, a lot of volume came in, a lot of volume came in. Yeah, so all these things, statistically speaking, I would say that we likely are not done and that we do go lower. But it's any person's guess at this point. I mean, there's still a chance where we could actually continue to move up from here and V-shaped recover. If we do that over the coming hours, we'll know, right? We'll definitely know that things are looking good, but again, just because we move up over the coming hours doesn't mean we're going through a V-shaped recovery. We can move up to move up $1,000 from here, $2,000 from here, and then drop down, get our lower low, right? Get a lower high, lower low, find support down again at about $113,500. I'm going to turn this thing down because it's just so damn loud. Let's get rid of that. All right, 4 hour time frame here. I can hear myself think for once. Looking at this on the 4 hour time frame, should we bust out the other indicators? Let's do that. Let's bust out the other ones. Stochastics are bearish, and the 4 hour MACD is bearish as well, crossing below the 0. Yeah, that looks pretty bad. 2 hours left. Let's see how it goes. The one thing besides the indicators and the deepness in the 1 hour RSI that's making me think that we go lower, it's the fact that it is the beginning of August. And if we were to move lower, this would be the time to do it, right? Like next week, we're not going to be down here. Next week, we're not going to be moving lower. If we do, maybe we have some stuff to talk about, but we should be recovering and moving up higher through this month. We shouldn't, and that's implied by the fact that we've moved down at the beginning. Typically, again, green months, you move down in the beginning. Red months, you move up in the beginning. Red months have wicks to the upside. Green months have wicks to the downside. Not always, but generally. You could move up at first in a green month and then move down the second week and then come back up in the last half of the month. Like, anything's possible. It doesn't have to happen exactly that way, but just looking at this here, that volume, man, it looks like we mean business. Looks like we mean business to the downside. And I would expect there's probably a lot of people who are looking at this trend line and saying, as long as this trend line holds, find your favorite YouTubers out there, your biggest YouTube names out there. They're probably saying, as long as this trend line holds, we're fine. And maybe they'll be proven right. Maybe we move up. But I would challenge that and say, actually, as soon as we break through it, that's probably the time to buy. Right there at about 113K, maybe even a little bit below 113K. And then we'll rally, right? Right when everybody's panicking, which I'm sure there's a lot of panicking going on right now, but I don't know. I'm curious, actually. What's the crypto fear and greed index say? If you guys heard a child scream, that was just my 3-year-old. I hear a fly. Flies hate karate, by the way. If a fly flies by you, you give them some karate chops, and they'll go away. Normally, unless it's a, would it be Okinawan fly or a Chinese fly? I don't know. Where was karate developed? That's a good question. 57 neutral. We're not really in a fearful position right now. Anyways, I don't think I have anything else that I want to say, you guys. We're moving down right now, but I wouldn't be too afraid about it. I wouldn't be too scared about it. It's nothing to fear, right? We're just consolidating in this area. Instead of it being a horizontal consolidation phase, it's a downward sloping consolidation phase, and that's fine. That's actually not a problem at all. And in fact, it's actually very normal. We just had one, right? We just had a downward sloping consolidation phase, and look at what it brought us, right? Very tight phase here. It's almost like a bull flag. I mean, maybe it is. We should be moving up to 130K, 150K, higher than that by the end of this month, looking for a target ultimately of $180,000 by the end of this run. I'm anticipating that while this run was fun right here from a low to a high, we went, July 8th to July 14th there. We went from a relative price of 108,000 to 123,000. While that was fun, I think this next move up is going to be even more spectacular. So we should be seeing prices around 140K, I would think, between now and the end of next week. Not this week, but the end of next week. Maybe? No. Not next week, because it's almost the end of this week. But let's say between now and the next 14 days, the next 2 weeks, I would think that we're up there. So little shakeout before the breakout. That's totally fine, totally healthy. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Buy the dip. Bye-bye.